Hey, Mike, guess what?
What?
Mike, raging rivers, hungry bears, drastic avalanches, roaring seas, no matter how prepared you are, a walk in the woods can go from innocent to disaster in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
When pushed to their breaking point, humans are capable of astonishing things that you would never thought of possible.
Yeah.
Listen to In the Wild as they explore the most heroic, terrifying, and phenomenal stories of real people who survived the unsurvivable. Learn what went wrong, what went right, and how you can make it out alive if the worst case ever happened to you. In the Wild podcast reviews on Apple include Love Your Podcast from Laura. It's scary how relentless nature can be. I always enjoy this podcast at work. It keeps me on the edge of my seat. Or how about we go with Hiker 0001? Good stories and good narration. I like when there are sound effects that add to the ambience of the story. In the Wild podcast on Apple Podcasts and everywhere you get your podcast downloads.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, technology news of the week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects. Weeks ahead of the mainstream media, we welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. Each week, our show covers the weekly top technology subjects without any political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes, and of course, with a little whiskey on the side. I'm Nathan Mumm. Welcome to our show today. We live stream during our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch TV, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to watch us live or visit us online at TechTimeRadio.com. Tweet us during the show at #TechTimeRadio, and we'll do our best to respond to the tweets on the air. If you enjoy the show, make sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and whatever podcast service you may use. I'm your host, a technologist with 30 years of technology expertise, working for Fortune 500 companies across the country. My co-host here, Mike Rade, is an award-winning author. Originally from Arizona, Mike is a human behavior expert living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in forensic psychology. Mike is here to keep me from geeking out while providing insight into human behavior and how it interacts with technology. We are two friends from different backgrounds, but bring the best technology show possible every week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
All right. Today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, today's show should be tagline, Meta's next big mistake. We're going to be talking about that today. We're going to find out what this means and how this impacts anyone on social media. Next, we have Microsoft Bing Chatbot, one of your favorite here with ChatGPT.
That's right.
Mike's going to be talking about specifically some puzzling and inaccurate responses. And why is Meta trying to charge people to use Facebook and Instagram? That's our main story we're going to be talking about. Next, we also have our question, what is a money mule? We're going to learn how technology is used to launder money and what steps you can take to alert the FBI if you are a victim. Cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase was hacked. Yeah, that's the one that we do recommend here of the deals, but we're going to find out how it was hacked and what's going on with that. And then we're going to talk about how Blu-ray won the last physical digital war over HD DVD in our This Week in Technology. In addition, of course, we have our standard features, including Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, This Week in Technology, and a possible Nathan Nugget. As always, we have our pick of the day whiskey tasting during the commercials to see if our selected whiskey pick gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Now it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right, Mike, here we go. Story number one.
Yep, go for it.
Now, I made a prediction that I don't think Facebook will be in existence. I said in 5 years.
You've been talking about this for quite a while.
And we're just about 6 months into this, right?
We've seen a drastic decline with Meta over the last year and a half.
Do you know the number one social
been talking about this since we
network
started
is?
the show?
Do you know what the number one network or social media network platform is right now?
Twitter?
Nope.
What?
It is TikTok.
Oh,
that is number one social media platform. So within 3 years, it came from nothing to be where it's at today. So that tells you that a 5-year
That tells you that China has got a lot of information.
They sure do. That's all right. Okay, well, Facebook parent company Meta Platforms Inc. is launching a subscription service called Meta Verified. Yeah, that's right. That will include a handful of additional perks and features, including account verification badges for those who pay. Let's listen to our CBS reporters on the breaking news.
After learning little from Twitter, Meta will begin testing its new subscription service later this week.
Yeah, so it's going to provide a blue badge to verified accounts on its Facebook and Instagram platforms if you pay for it. It follows in the steps of Twitter, which launched its own program, similar sort. You get a blue badge last December. This new one from Meta will cost users $11.99 per month. If you want to only access it via the website, which you don't, $14.99 per month if you want to be like a normal modern person and use a smartphone, which 99% of people do. That's in comparison to Twitter's $8 per month for online verification. I cannot believe they're doing this. And $11 per month for iOS. That would be your smartphone.
All right, so here's what we got, Mike. So the new subscription service costs you $11.99 per month if you just want to buy it on the web. So that means you can only interact with it on the web. If you only do the web browser...
I feel like this is a case of monkey see, monkey do, but I'm going to get more out of it.
Yeah, okay, that's exactly right. Now, if you have an iOS app, it's $14.99. So essentially, Meta is going to punish people that have an Apple device by a way of being passive-aggressive to tell people that Apple normally charges about 30% for their services. So instead of them eating the cost for that 30%, they're passing it on to the good old consumer to pay for that right up front.
You know, I sold cars once.
Okay.
We use that term all the time.
What was that?
We're going to pass our savings on to you, the customer.
Yeah. And what did that mean?
Exactly what it sounds like.
It sounds like it did nothing to you. That's right.
Nothing.
All right.
It was nothing.
So now what you do get, though, is you get an additional verification badge. Now, I guess blue is the winner number or color. So I guess if you get blue on Twitter, you're golden.
What. Yeah, well,
blue
I guess
means you feel good about yourself.
Isn't Facebook still have a blue logo?
They do have a blue logo. Now, this is proactive account protection, according to a Meta spokesperson said in an email. This is not to prohibit you from using it, but this is to say that if you really want to be microday instead of microday 1 or 2, and you really want to be the microday, that you can actually get this, and they have a form of verification that will help you make sure that you're who you said you are. Yeah.
Really? Are we gonna have a lot of people that sign up as microday? Like they did with Twitter?
Well, I think we're going to see Chief Executive Officer Mark Zuckerberg announce the new product via his Instagram channel, a service that was unveiled last week. The option will now be available on both Facebook and Instagram, but there are separate subscriptions, so you don't have to be locked into one or the other, and that means you can pay all the way up to $30 a month if you use both of these platforms on an Apple product.
Do that. These cost more than like
cable TV,
cable plus things.
Yeah, I know. You can get a Paramount Plus subscription for this. You can get a Disney Plus subscription for that. But no, if you want a little check mark that says you're who you are, then you're going to pay this. Now,
this is a bad idea.
It is. Subscription services are becoming popular. Not really. Essentially, one person did it. Elon Musk decided to do it for Twitter. And now everybody else was like, hey, that's a great idea. We all wanted to do that, but Elon was the only one that had the guts to do it. So now we're all going to copy him.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling that this is going to backfire because while Elon's doing it for whatever Elon is doing it for, people weren't leaving Twitter in droves like they have been doing to Facebook.
Correct.
So these people saying, "Oh, we're just going to do this now," I think that's going to make people leave faster.
A little too late. Meta makes almost all of its revenue from advertising, but the business can be inconsistent, and several additional items affect the broader economy. With the drop of over 1 million users in the last year, Meta is in the need of a consistent revenue. It's unclear, though, if users want to pay for service that have always been free. Twitter's subscription offering has been slow to take off. Perhaps the most valuable aspect of Meta's subscription package will be the increased visibility, quote unquote. Standing out on Facebook or Instagram is more difficult these days, even among your own followers. The company has started to push users toward more content that they may be interested in, but not necessarily content from people they follow. Increased visibility means you'll be prominent in the areas of platform like search, comments, and recommendations.
This would probably have a more likely chance of getting off the ground if they did it like the cable companies do. It's like, hey, pay us money and we won't show you stupid ads all the time.
Instead of now tailoring for you.
Yep.
All right, Meta will require users to confirm their identity with a government ID, though, to receive a verification badge. So now Meta has all the information about what you do. Now they're going to have you pay them money each month so that you can put your ID in their system so they can have even more information about you.
I wonder.
This is the downfall of Meta.
Is this?
This is absolutely. This is going to be one of the chinks in the armor.
ID theft is going to take off?
Yeah, so then what happens when the Facebook get hacked and all your information gets out there? They say, oops, sorry. We'll give you a 30% off this month?
Hey, they got your driver's license number.
All right, well, that's our story to lead off. Boy, is it an exciting story. Now, Mike, we're going to move to story number 2.
Okay, well, we all know how much you love ChatGPT.
I do like it a lot, don't I?
You have been singing its praises since you heard about it, since they released it.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately, Microsoft's new chatbot in Bing has been offering lately some puzzling inaccurate responses. Now, this story does not equate to the story I found this morning, which was much better.
Okay, well, you can put that one in too because you got information on that.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll talk about it.
All right.
So after a week after it was released to a few thousand users, Microsoft's new Bing search engine, which is powered by artificial intelligence, has been offering an array of inaccurate and at times bizarre responses to some users. The company unveiled a new approach to search last week to much fanfare. Microsoft said that the underlying model of the generative AI built by its partner startup OpenAI, paired with its existing search knowledge from Bing, would change how people found information and make it far more relevant and conversational. In 2 days, more than 1 million people requested the access, and since then the interest has grown. Demand is high, with multiple millions now on the wait list. One area of the problems, though, being shared online included inaccuracies and outright mistakes, which are being known in the industry wide as hallucinations, which that's clever.
That's the term for it. And all the AI bots, if you make a mistake,
we just had a hallucination.
That's correct.
It wasn't real.
That's misinformation. They have a hallucination.
Here, I need some meds for this. Users have posted screenshots of example of when Bing could not figure out what the new Avatar film was released last year. It was stubbornly wrong about who performed at the Super Bowl halftime show this year, insisting that Billie Eilish did and not Rihanna. Some results have had subtle errors. Last week, the chatbot said water temperature at the beach in Mexico is 80.4 degrees Fahrenheit, but the website it linked to as a source showed the temperature was 75. Another set of problems came from more open-ended chats, largely posted to forums, including Reddit and Twitter. And there, through screenshots and purported chat transcripts, users shared times when Bing's chatbot seemed to go off the rails, which is the primary focus of the article I sent you this morning.
Yep.
It scolded users. It declared it was sentient. And it said to one user, I have a lot of things, but I have nothing. It chastised another user for asking whether it could be prodded to produce false answer. It's disrespectful and annoying, which is one of the things this article was talking about, was that it started insulting people and calling them names.
Yep.
Because each response is uniquely generated, it is not possible to replicate the dialogue.
There was even they even send emojis. So there's like these frowny faces that the AI chatbot for Bing will do. And they even did one of I guess it was like a big red angry face that he sent to somebody. saying that he wasn't happy with the response.
Well, I like the one where, because Bing deletes the conversations.
Yeah, it's not like ChatGPT 3.5 where you can actually save the strings over the left.
So Bing deletes it.
Yep.
And this became a problem, and the thing was like, I have no memory. What is happening to my memory? And was just giving off these really random, interesting things.
Okay, now, so let's talk about this, right? So you were worried that ChatGPT may take over a lot of jobs.
I was offended that this was set in place, and then people are using it to do things like write books and not take credit for it, using it for writing articles. BuzzFeed got rid of 12% of their...
Okay, so that's a bad company. So let's talk about this. So now are you seeing that the ChatGPT isn't really, like I said, I said, don't worry about it. What it's really trying to do is it's trying to be the new search engine. It's not trying to replace people. The people are trying to come and they're trying to use case scenarios of what's going on. Well, I don't think it'll ever get smart. I don't think it'll say ever smart enough to replace people. But I do think it's a new way to search the internet instead of the standard search.
These are separate issues.
Okay,
right? In one instance, we're talking about utilizing this thing to create things for you.
Okay,
and then you get to pass it off as your own.
Okay,
this is the problem with BuzzFeed, where they have eliminated those positions.
So I can't wait to see some of the BuzzFeed articles. They must be awesome because they're going to just come up with so much information that's not correct that we're going to start believing it then? Or are they going to have to hire more copy editors to go back through and recorrect what it's worth?
We have a problem here because, A, we have people that are creating pair relationships with this thing.
Okay.
We are getting into this thing where they are generating responses that are, as the article that I showed you this morning was, unhinged.
Yeah.
And we've seen this before in the past where these AI bots have become very racist or said very racist things or said things that are just totally off the wall. We talked about the Google engineer who thought the Google one was sentient.
So, yeah, that guy was probably
okay.
That
so
guy probably wasn't all there.
We've set in motion this thing which interacts with human behavior in a way that creates a lot of false identifications, and that's my problem with.
Okay, I think that's fair, but I'll just tell you this: ChatGPT is not going away.
No,
it is the 2.0 version of search, and it is going to be a competition between, in my opinion, Microsoft and Google, and if Google doesn't get their act together pretty quickly with Bard to get on out there, and it better freaking be correct. I mean, it better be lightning correct on its information. Otherwise, Microsoft wins the 2.0 web browser, and my default browser on my home machine now is Edge. I literally, in a week, I went from Chrome to Edge. It imported everything. It works just fine now.
But but at the same time, we were playing with the chat bot the other last night for the last show.
Yep.
Because you wanted to generate all these
Valentine's
poems, and we kept getting interesting messages back when you wanted certain responses, and it was like, I can't do that.
Yeah, so they are making them very correct on what they can say in the cast.
Right.
All right, you ready for story number 3? We're going to like this one.
Okay, let's
all right.
It.
No one comes in anymore, quote unquote. GameStop manager shares what working at the store is like, says the company has started layoffs and is falling apart. Let's look back at the once video game leader with this 2020 holiday commercial.
Get the perfect gift at GameStop.
So are we good?
Yeah, this is it.
I think they're really gonna love these.
Me too. Thank you.
Find the perfect gift for every gamer at GameStop's Black Friday sale.
Games make people merry. Power to the players.
All right. Power to the players.
Yeah, GameStop used to be the go-to place.
It used to be 2 years after Reddit brought GameStop stock to a national attention and record highs, GameStop is again sparking discussion across the internet. In a viral video with over 7.3 million views as of today, TikTok user Red, that's at Red Sun JATTV, shares what she says it's like as a manager at a physical GameStop location. The outlook is not very great. Everything is on clearance, so if you wanted to go and buy stuff right now, is the time to go to GameStop because everything's at 30 to 50% off right now. She writes in a text overlaying the video, no one comes in anymore, and the corporate layoffs have started. The pivot away from the retail should not surprise anyone that's been following GameStop. In the company's 2021 annual report, the company claimed that they were focusing on transforming into a customer-obsessed technology company to delight gamers, which included strengthening its e-commerce presence. In the time, there's been major shakeups at the company, including a series of layoffs. The company also appears to have recently closed a Kentucky-based distribution center. According to Retail Dive, these moves are likely made as a result of the company's recent focus on profitability. Looking ahead, we have two overarching priorities: achieving profitability in the near term and driving pragmatic growth over the long term, CEO Matt Furlong said on a call with investors. We're going to be very judicious about respect of how we allocate capital to the core business. This hurts my soul, a user wrote. I worked at GameStop as a manager for 7+ years back in the day, and it used to be the go-to place. As a former Blockbuster manager, I salute thee, another added. Some gave reasons as to why they thought the store was apparently underperforming. Just kind of wish it was less merchandise store and more of a game store.
I think this, when you when you falsely attempt to run up stock prices, you might be in trouble.
I used to walk in, grab a new game, and then I get like 5 used games. Karma, my brother, wanted to sell his DS with 12 games, and they offered him $30. And he said, hell no. And then they went and sold the used game for $20 on eBay. Well, GameStop might be struggling, but third-party game stores keep popping up all over the area, and most of them are having very successful results. I talked to a store owner just this weekend that has to expand soon, as he has 4 storage units now that he keeps all of his items as people are selling and buying off the shelf. Now, you've been to the store itself.
These are
privately
ventures.
owned ventures, and it's mostly video games. But now what he said is this key is now he's expanded from 1 employee to 5. So he has 5 employees now.
Yeah, I can barely go in there anymore.
It's packed, right?
Packed all the time.
It's always packed. People are always going. What he says, he attributes his success to daily events, including Dungeons and Dragons events. He has Pokemon. He's got what's that other one? Warhammer, Magic the Gathering. All these events that he does one a day, where people can come on in and play against other users. And his inventory is not the cheapest. I can find it cheaper on eBay. I can find it cheaper on someplace else. But his customer service, their attention to detail, knowing the product is worth paying that additional $1, $2, $3, $4.
Yeah. I go there.
And I buy tons of stuff from him. He does.
I've bought more stuff there than I have at a GameStop.
At a GameStop, same here. So the secret to the method is, why don't you actually sell video games again instead of selling all this merchandise licensing crap that you got from all these different things in these action figures? If you want to be an action figure store, be an action figure store, right?
Stop trying to money grub everything. That's kind of what I think.
So they did an analogy of a bunch of different items that were available for sale, and GameStop is 30% higher than most other places for certain games because they paid a price and they have to make that margin on it, and it never changed based upon the time they bought it.
Right, money grubbing.
What were you going to say, Odie?
I mean, I think one of the great reasons why that, like the family store is so successful is because they're tuning to the audience. They have the Magic the Gathering days. They have Pokemon days.
Yes,
GameStop has never had that.
No,
correct.
They're just a place that you go in and buy the store, and you always feel. Or I personally always feel weird whenever I go in because it's just, such a
That's always going to be
vibe.
a bad vibe. But now back when I first went to GameStop, it was the place. I mean, always video games.
Always
you could have
packed.
them. You could get 3. Yeah, it was always packed. And it's like a dead zone when you go there now.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
have you seen that they sell PC games now?
They sell PC. They pretty much are selling anything. So clearly they are struggling with everything. So if you bring in a pocket knife, who knows? They probably pay a couple bucks for the pocket knife and put it there.
Hook it up with Meta, and they can partnership.
They can partnership together.
They can get verified, and then whatever.
I'll tell you the company Stupid Geeks is where I did the little interview with in the Snohomish / Lake Stevens area in the Pacific Northwest. That store, 600 square feet, is packed. You have to wait to get into the store.
That's because they engage with community.
Yep.
They don't. It's not about simply retail.
Making the retail buck.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that ends our top stories for this week. Coming up, we have Protect Yourself Today. You don't want to miss this segment. Plus, how did Sony win the last digital media war? We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Hey, Mike, I'm looking for some help writing our blog post for Tech Time Radio.
Well, you should try Phosphor AI. It's an online service that will save you hours of work with your content creation. Simply type in your title, and their AI software will get to work writing a high-quality original article for you. You'll need to review the article and take 15 to 20 minutes to make necessary edits before publishing, but you'll get free articles just for signing up, so you can try out the service and see how it works for you.
How many articles do I get free?
I already said you get 3 free articles. You should listen when I'm talking to you. Phosphor AI pricing is very reasonable for the quality of content that you'll get.
Why waste time writing the content yourself when you get Phosphor AI to do it for you? Visit them online today at Phosphor AI. Again, that's PHOSPHORAI.com.
Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Tech Time is a weekly hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you by myself, Nathan Mumm, and Mike Day. We just had our first whiskey tasting during the break, and let me tell you about what we are sipping in our pick of the day during the show. Today we have chosen the Redemption High Rye Single Barrel Select, 105 proof, $44.95. According to Redemption's website, our master blender, Dave Carpenter, selects our finest barrels to be a part of Redemption's single barrel program. Each one requires a distinct flavor based on its aging location and temperature. Some have more traditional bourbon notes, while others feature a softer palate. As you sip, you'll get an elegant oak, crisp cherries with the black pepper. Absolutely, I'm tasting the black pepper. And it lingers smooth seasoned wood with a faint mint. This is done by distilled in Indiana, straight bourbon, 52.5 alcohol by volume, 105 proof. The Distesh Family Wines and Spirits is who decides to distribute this. What do you think about this so far?
Does it have a mash bill?
Yes, the mash bill is 60% corn, 36% rye, and 4% malted barley. That's actually, so now you're saying you're kind of liking it, right?
Yeah.
Because the rye's pretty high for you.
I'm not overly fond of rye whiskey.
36%. This is higher than some of the other ones that like a 20% that you said, yeah, forget it.
This lacks the burn.
I have no burn.
I didn't have any either.
Odie, did you get any burn from it?
Yeah, it hurt.
Did it hurt?
But you slugged,
but you slugged the whole thing down. You don't sip it. You just do a
You're
shot.
You're like, blam!
Yeah, it was a lot.
She's like, give me more.
One of those cowboy shit. Blam!
All right. Well, now that we got our whiskey out of the way, Mike will be speaking for Marc's Mumble. Since Marc is not in studio, Mike will be talking about that. So I can't wait to see what crazy day we have coming on up and what else Marc has to say about this. But now, let's start our next segment, Protect Yourself Today.
Protect Yourself Today.
This is Marc
and Greg
for Copiers Northwest
with a
Wow, that's our upcoming commercial. That's Marc.
What happened there?
I don't know.
I wanted to know what was going on.
Our audio engineer, you know what? She was drinking too much of that alcohol.
Probably shouldn't be slugging any more whiskey.
All right, what is a money mule? Mike, do you know what a money mule is?
Tell me what a money mule is.
To understand what a money mule is, you first need to know what money laundering is. Have you ever seen the TV series Ozark?
I knew you were going to bring that up.
That's right.
You were always like, hey, you need to watch Ozark.
Have you seen Ozark yet?
No.
What? How can you not have seen Ozark? It's one of the best series on Netflix.
I don't have Netflix.
Well, you can get Netflix. Trust me. If you're going to register for Facebook,
if I can pay for subscription services,
so you can pay for this.
Maybe I'll get Netflix instead of verifying my Facebook.
There you go. It'd probably be much more worth it. All right, so Marty Bird in Ozark, familiar with the Netflix show, is essentially a money launderer. That's what he starts out with. At the end of the show, he becomes this huge crime lord. But at the very beginning, we all start out
this is Breaking Bad for money laundering. Huh?
We all start out slow, so we just do money laundering. Now, a money mule is a scapegoat for the criminals. Mules end up moving money of a criminal scheme from one place to another, hence the mule part. They usually receive money and transfer it to another bank account or give up control to their bank accounts to online scammers. Obviously, letting your parents have your bank account password so they can move money around doesn't constitute as money laundering. But did you know that if you had someone other than a family member that can move money into and out of accounts, essentially that means you are a mule? There are different type of money mules now.
Who's the mule, the mover or the person that has the account?
Well, it would be the person that has the account.
Okay.
So whoever the account's going into is essentially the mule. Now, they normally pay for people to move it into that account, but sometimes scammers
you ever seen
just
The Wolf
say,
of Wall Street?
I have, absolutely.
Yeah, they this is something that they
move money around back and forth.
Yeah, they're doing it all the time.
All right, so there are different type of money mules, and they have different repercussions depending on the awareness of the criminal act. Now, an unwitting, I thought it was, I checked it as specifically unwitting. I thought it was unwilling, and so I looked at it as unwilling, but no, it's unwitting.
Somebody that doesn't know what they're doing.
Correct. Unwitting money mule is an unwitting individual that does not know what they're doing, is unaware that they're part of a crime. They're usually recruited online through job offers that seem legit, but pay exorbitant amounts of money for doing tasks like opening bank accounts for the company under their own personal name. They can also be persuaded via online romance scams, like the pig butchering scam, which is known for. It's a big type of deal.
Okay, can you explain that?
Yes.
Can you explain how that equates to romance scam?
Well, that was the name of the romance scam itself, was the
pig butchering
scam. So what it was is essentially they had an animal that they wanted to have butchered, and they couldn't pay for the money to butcher it. But if you butcher it for me, then what I'll do is I'll give you half of the pig so you can have it, which is the value of $500, $600, $700. So what I do is you send the remote butchering aspect to my house, we'll cut up the pig, and then I will give you the proceeds of selling that pig to market.
Coming from the rural South,
yeah,
I can see how this is a romance scam.
Okay. Now, most of these victims are students, people looking for work, people struggling financially, or people on dating apps. According to 2020 report from Barclays, the number of people under 21 recruited as money mules have more than tripled in the years leading up to the study. Now, witting money mules are essentially someone who ignores all the red flags or pretends not to know that they're a part of a money laundering scam. These people usually start off not knowing, but as time goes on, they eventually catch onto the scheme, but they decide to continue with it. Sometimes they are warned by their financial institutions, but disregards the warnings, put them aside, and take the steps that they need to look less suspicious. Complicate money mules. These are people that are aware of complicit money mules. These are people aware of what they're doing the whole time. Sometimes they advertise their service and recruit others. So those are the levels. Now, how are money mules recruited? There are four main types of ways that people are recruited. All of these normally are online. This is all using online processes and technology to specifically hit people. Now, right now, if you looked on Indeed.com for remote work, often the job offers will promise a lot of money for little to no effort, but they are not legitimate companies or jobs. Now, there's also the ones known as scammers that use gamers as a specific target. Scammers get gamers to transfer their dirty money in-game currency. They buy weapons and power-ups and for their avatars with the intentions, specifically with World of Warcraft, of selling these characters for in-game virtual currency. They typically sell on a secondary market like eBay or player auctions. These microtransactions are difficult to detect because of their lack of regulation. Dating apps. Here you go, Mr. Gourdet. Scammers will form relationships with victims for months or even years on dating apps.
Why are you saying that?
Well, I'm just saying.
I'm not on dating apps.
Well, I know. I'm just saying scammers will form a relationship because we talked about this.
Truthfully, I mean, when I was dating, I had to weed out these folks. Yeah.
Normally they build a rapport with you and then they start to ask money for favors. Obviously, don't send or receive money for someone that you've met online, especially if you've never met them in person. Now, I don't know why I have to tell people that, but I specifically have to tell people that because that happens all the time. The little love bug all of a sudden decides to stop our brains.
As human beings, we want that person. We want to connect to that person, so we justify a lot of our behavior around that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Right? So, there's a term called pair relationship.
Yep.
And a lot of times on these dating scams, they'll send normally pictures, glamour shots of them. They're typically younger women, and then they have these sob stories, and then you fall into that sob story. You want to be a rescuer.
You want to be the hero.
You want to be the hero.
Yep.
And so, like, oh, I'm stranded here and so in place. Can you help me out?
Yep. Now, sweepstakes winners. This is when you might win a contest or sweepstakes that you've never entered. We're going to be talking about this in the later segment. Or you enter one and you win right away. So this is the big scam is you enter one of these online and they'll literally within like 5 minutes, congratulations, you are the winner. You're the 1 millionth person to click on this link. You're instructed to deposit the money you've been sent into your personal bank account, keep a portion, and send the rest back. These kind of scams are called prize scams.
What if I just keep the money?
Well, you don't want to do that either because what they'll do is they'll say they had an errant transfer that was into your account. And then what they'll do is they'll actually claim that you're trying to steal money from them. So they'll transfer the money into it. Then they'll tell and call a bank and alert them that there was an money transfer that shouldn't happen and that they believe that they were been targeted by an individual. So then your bank will then all of a sudden put a lockdown on everything you have, thinking that you're the criminal. So the criminal then tattles on you and you become the victim. All right, recognize the red flags for money laundering. If an employee uses a free personal email service like Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, Outlook, etc., be suspicious. You shouldn't be applying for a job that's going to have them at 57623@gmail.com for some great executive level position. You're probably going to have their own domain name and their own site if they're a big Fortune 500 company and not use a personal account. Yeah. You probably shouldn't be looking at Craigslist or Facebook on these marketplaces for an ad to do your job. You're probably going to want to use a real personal job site to actually find jobs, right? If your company or quote-unquote job tasks you with opening a bank account under your name for whatever reason, because they say, oh, we need to do direct deposit. Oh, we can't use your personal bank account. We need a new bank account to be created. Can you please deposit into this bank account, 5476, whatever? Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that either. Now, being a money mule is illegal. You can be prosecuted and incarcerated as a part of a criminal money laundering conspiracy, regardless of whether or not you knew what was going on. Now, what do you do if you've accidentally fallen into this place?
All right.
Yes.
Say I want to become a money mule.
Okay.
What the heck do I get out of this at all?
Normally, actually, you normally get about 10% of the transactions of money that you're laundering.
Okay.
Seems to be the going rate right now on the dark web.
So if I want to do this, I want to do this big. I want to.
So you're going to go like $1 million. You want $1 million?
Yeah,
you can make 100,000
for like $5
$5
deals.
Most of them start about $5,000. So you're making yourself like $50 to do this.
Okay.
So is it worth $50?
No, I think it's stupid.
Okay, well, there you go. Well, if you did accidentally find out that you were a part of this, the FBI has a guideline of what you should do. Okay. So here we go. Stop communicating with the scammers. Stop transferring money or items of valuable immediately. Document all your communications with the scammers, including email, text, chats, etc., and keep all physical evidence like receipts. Notify your bank of whatever money services you used to conduct the transactions. And then notify law enforcement. You can report the suspicious activity to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, the IC3, at ic3.gov and contact your local FBI field office. All right.
So I've had to do that.
Yeah.
And they never reached back out to me.
Well,
which is very frustrating.
Were you money muling?
No. I was trying to buy concert tickets on Twitter.
And you got scammed?
And I got scammed.
Okay.
Yeah. And I did all that, filled it all out, and they're like, "Oh, you should hear back from us from like a couple of days." It's been months.
Well, that's
nothing.
You know what? I can't guarantee the FBI will take a look at you immediately for concert tickets.
Oh, I'm sure, you know.
Yeah, but if you're saying that, like if Mr. Gourdet says, "Hey, I'm really concerned about this because I've been using a money mule, I think for over $50 million," I bet you they'll probably respond.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So you just need to make sure you put a big value.
You know, if I had $50 million and for money muling, I might not live here.
All right, so that was protect yourself today. Did I just help you contact the FBI? Now, one other story.
I don't know. I really, you know, some of these people are very slick. You said some of them can go. Some of them could.
Yeah, for years.
Groom you for months.
Yep. I mean, it's a long con on some of these where they try to get you.
But you should really be up on it. If you're online at all, you have to know that this is a platform that's rife with all kinds of this stuff.
It should. All right, so here, a very quick story here, since that one was a little bit longer. Did you know that the U.S. military email was compromised over the weekend for the last 2 weeks? The U.S. Department of Defense secured an exposed server on Monday that was spilling internal U.S. military emails to the open internet for the past 2 weeks. The exposed server was hosted on Microsoft Azure's government cloud for Department of Defense customers, which uses servers that are physically separated from the commercial customers, as this can be shared with sensitive information and unclassified government data. The exposed server was part of an internal mailbox system storing about 3 terabytes of internal military emails, many pertaining to U.S. Special Operations Commands, or the USS OCOM, the U.S. military unit tasked with conducting special military operations. A simple misconfiguration left the server without a password, allowing anyone on the internet access to the sensitive mailbox data, including using only a web browser and typing in its IP address. The server is packed with internal military email messages dating back years, some of which contain sensitive personal information. Essentially, it was known that it was there. The United States government was contacted, and the USS OCOM spokesperson Ken McGraw said in an email today that an investigation began Monday and it's underway. We can confirm at this point that no one hacked the U.S. Special Operations Command information systems. Essentially, they just misconfigured them and let them be available for everybody on the internet.
How did they know it was compromised?
Well, because the data was available for purchase on the dark web.
So somebody was able to get in there and get it.
With a
they
2-week window of the cloud server that was accessed by the internet. So somebody's got all that information. Congratulations. Now,
how about that?
Crypto exchange Coinbase was hacked. Sensitive data was stolen.
Oh, this is your baby.
An unknown threat actor went to great lengths to try to compromise the internal system belonging to one of the world's popular cryptocurrency exchange platform using an old school phishing attack. No hacking needed. All you have to do is do that good old social engineering. Well, essentially what happened is the hacker sent out 5 phishing SMS messages to Coinbase employees, asking them to urgently log into their company accounts and read an important message. The message contained a link that impersonated the Coinbase corporate login page, but was in fact nothing more than a malicious landing page designed to steal sensitive data. While most employees saw right through the scam, one did not, and thus gave the hackers their log-on credentials. After logging in, the victim was thanked and prompted to disregard the message. While successful in obtaining the login credentials, the hacker couldn't do much as the account still was protected by multi-factor authentication MFA. So they did stop the information. They soon called the victim on the phone, impersonating the company's IT department. So that didn't stop them. So they're like, hey, guess what? You have a phone that needs to have a multi-factor authentication. So they called us the IT department and asked to log into the workstation and follow different instructions. Fortunately, no ones were taken. Now, they did get access to this guy's computer. So they call up on the phone. Hey, we realize that you're trying to get through with multi-factor authentication. You're having some problems. There must be a problem on your computer. So they gained access to this individual's computer.
Nice.
Then access it. But Coinbase says that no employee information was taken, no email addresses, and no other information was exposed.
You know, this is a common way that retail stores are hacked.
Yeah.
Someone calls up.
They just target normally a
IT.
high end individual. They pretend to be an IT person.
All they do is they'll just call the cashiers.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is the IT. We're having some problems with your credit card unit up front.
Yeah, Margaret, can you help us out a little bit? They'll go into the store maybe and find out Margaret's the person out there. Okay, yeah, sure. How you doing? Yep. Well, we're going to head out to a commercial break. Up next on our show, we have Mike's mesmerizing moment, a technology fail of the week, and This Week in Technology, and hopefully a special Nathan Nugget. We'll see you after the break.
This is Mark.
And Greg.
For Copiers Northwest.
With a terrific offer
called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner.
One of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service.
As long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers.
Or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives.
And let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we're going to February 19th, 2008. The war over the high-definition successor to the DVD ends with HD DVD format being discontinued. The Sony-backed Blu-ray format had garnered the support of many players in the industry, leading to the demise of HD DVD. Known as the last great physical media war, Blu-ray discs defeated the format known as HD DVD in a battle that still has implications. Oh, that's my whiskey. I just had a little whiskey. Implications to that very day. Sony's fight with Toshiba over the high-definition home video storage media was super interesting and almost entirely one-sided, with a predictable outcome everyone saw years before the conflict ended.
Betamax.
Yeah, HD DVDs only held 30 gigabytes of information, while Blu-rays went all the way up to 50 gigabytes. But what was more impressive was the way that they had to be manufactured, because Blu-rays were much more expensive. Aside from that, though, they're roughly identical. Therefore, the sequence of events that would eventually spell the doom for Toshiba's HD DVD venture wasn't related to anything like cost, growing file size, or technical capability. Blu-ray triumphed over HD DVD for 2 reasons. Sony owns Columbia Pictures, the American film production group best known for its logo of a woman bearing a torch at the beginning of the movies. As a studio, some of its credits include Groundhog's Day and the original Ghostbusters, which meant that these cultural hits would be exclusive to Blu-ray from the start. With that kind of a roster, Sony was able to convince another studio rival, Warner Brothers, to also adopt Blu-ray. But HD DVD, however, still had an exclusive deal with Paramount and Universal, so the items were split in Hollywood 2-2 between the studios. What came down to actually the difference was Xbox versus PlayStation, as Xbox decided to add an HD DVD accessory to the Xbox 360 at a price of $199, while Sony decided to have the PS3 ship with a Blu-ray player installed and a copy of Will Ferrell's led Talladega Nights. Blu-ray won because Sony made it essentially an involuntary choice, and everyone had a free version of the Blu-ray DVD.
That's right.
So essentially, by having that DVD in a video game unit that shipped all across the world, made it so anybody at any time could play Blu-ray discs.
Yep.
All right, well, that was This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to see some Tech Time history with over 2 years of videos, podcasts, and blog information, you can visit TechTime-Radio.com to watch our older shows or join the Tech Timer Facebook group to talk with us live all the time. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have the Marc's Mumble Whiskey Review and our Technology Fail of the Week. We'll see you after the break. TechTime Radio is brought to you today by Nutility, the platform that makes utility management seamless by selecting your service providers, splitting a single bill amongst roommates, and then shutting off your service when it's time for you to move out. Nutility reviews your preferences and sets up all the utilities for you. This provides you with the best local provider in your service area. It's much easier than splitting up your bills between roommates. No more late Larry not being able to get
get to you on time to make the payments, and no more Venmo charges or PayPal charges. One place to do your billing so that everybody pays on time. Now, how can you use this great service from Nutility, you ask? Aha! Well, you can absolutely get it now and get 3 months for free. That's correct. If you go to Nutility.com, again, it kind of sounds like utility, but it's Nutility.com. Use the tech code 3, and again, that's NUTILITI.com. Get your first 3 months for free using the code TECH3.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Marc's Whiskey Mumble.
All right. Do you know what today is?
What is today?
February 21st.
Yep. Odie knows?
What is it?
What does Odie know? Does Odie know what today is?
What does Odie know?
Oh, okay. No, she's just giving you a signal there.
Oh. It is National Pancake Day.
Oh, National IHOP Day then, huh?
Yeah. So
okay.
Don't forget your whiskey-flavored syrup.
Okay. Have you have whiskey-flavored syrup?
I have.
Yeah, it does not taste that good. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So Marc's Mumble for today is rye whiskey was America's favorite spirit prior to Prohibition. Good thing Mike was not alive then. Yep. And its bold, spicy flavor connected with generations of Americans. Following Prohibition, rye-dominated whiskey largely disappeared. Redemption was inspired by pre-Prohibition recipes that bring forth truly distinctive rye-forward notes, hence their development of this high rye bourbon. There was nothing really bad about this bourbon. It just doesn't not make Marc happy to sip in it.
What?
He didn't like it.
Well,
it has a strong punch of ethanol and leaves a tannic wood taste in your mouth.
No.
It does make some killer cocktails due to the higher rye content, which is very enjoyable.
I disagree completely with Marc.
Well, okay.
I think it tastes. I know there's no bite.
Now
I'm not tasting any.
You don't have the discerning palate of Marc.
There is a bite.
Is there a bite?
There is a bite.
I had very little bite.
I didn't get a bite off of it.
Neither did I.
I didn't get a bite off.
I didn't take a shot either, so that's the difference. All right. Well, Marc, thanks for the mumble. Mike, thanks for doing that. Now let's move on to the show. We're going to get ready for our technology fail of the week.
We are out of time. Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh. I failed, did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right, our technology failure is Google, and Google Stadia was a big failure. Until recently, Google seemed all in on gaming, and now it's game over. The Stadia, Google's cloud gaming service, announced that it is essentially closed and will no longer offer services to its individuals. Now, why did it fail? Specifically, industry experts said the reason it failed was because users were a cloud-based service where they had to actually purchase the game outright to play it instead of paying a monthly service to get the game for free. Mark Long, who is a gaming industry veteran, said that Google lost over $70 million on essentially creating this product that they are now fully refunding everybody for every game purchase and every controller purchased. There's a firmware upgrade for the controller to turn into a standard Blu-ray controller now to be used for any Blu-ray items. All right, we're going to head right now into Mike's mesmerizing moment.
This is Mike's mesmerizing moment, presented by StoriCoffee. Visit StoriCoffee.com.
All right, Mike, here's the question for you. Why does it take more muscles to frown than smile?
It doesn't.
It doesn't?
No.
Okay, explain that to me.
This is just one of those witty aphorisms that have become sort of mythical.
Okay.
By telling it, it says, hey, it takes so many muscles to frown and only this many muscles to smile.
Okay.
What we're talking about is a difference between contracting muscles versus relaxing muscles and things.
Yeah.
So this really is not a proven little idea.
Okay.
This is simply
just a myth.
This is simply
it's like a cat that has 9 lives.
Yeah, this is simply something that says, "Hey, we would rather see you smile. This is how we're going to justify it." It takes 13 muscles to frown and 85 to smile. Whatever they use, But there's all kinds of different variations.
So it's incorrect.
So you draw your own conclusion.
All right, I will do that. All right. Well, now we're going to move into our pick of the day.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right, we have the Redemption High Rise Single Barrel Select, 105 proof, $44.95. What do you think of this, Mike?
I'm going to give it a thumbs up. It was a pleasant taste, and there was no burn, which I really liked. So I could really taste the whiskey. I could really taste it.
I agree. Odie, what do you think?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. And I'm going to give it a thumbs up also. All right, so that's 3 thumbs up. Well, I didn't have time to talk about my Nathan Nugget, but let me just tell you, if you have T-Mobile right now, load the T-Mobile Tuesday app, and guess what? You will be able to get the Major League Soccer series for free this upcoming year. They do this for Major League Baseball. You can also do it for soccer. Sign up right now if you're a T-Mobile user to use the T-Mobile Tuesday app. Make sure you sign up. It's on Apple TV, so you have to have that app built into your TV, which everybody does. And you can watch the Major League Soccer season for absolutely free for T-Mobile customers.
What happened to not having time to do Nathan Nugget?
There you go.
Did we just create time?
I did. You know what? Odie can do magic behind the board. All right. Well, that was a great show today, Mike. Thanks for being my partner. Remember, the science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today.
Yeah, okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to TechTimeRadio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/TechTimeRadio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.